right now there's a lot of losing going on. We saw what the Giants did on Sunday, blowing an early lead. The Yankees are obviously down 0-2. And the Jets are an unmitigated disaster, maybe the biggest disaster of even my lifetime. And to talk about it, we're joined by the great Joe B and his Monday call-in with me and Tiki. Is brought to you by Approved Oil. Visit freeztherate.com. HL Gross Jewelers of Garden City. Total Orthopedics, the experts at getting you back to being you. And by Audi Manhattan, where luxury meets excellence. Bro, can it get any worse with this football team?
What up, Joe B?
No. No, can't. It was, I don't know where to begin. I was at the game yesterday. It was one of the hottest Jet games I was ever at. I would say in the top three. I went to a game in '83 at Shea when it was like 98 degrees. And, of course, they lost to Seattle that day. But I don't know what to say. I mean, they're a disgrace. They're a non-competitive football team. Just like the week before when Allen fumbled, you knew the game was over. When Brees fumbled at 10-3, you knew the game was over. They come right down the field. They score a touchdown. They give up a touchdown again before halftime. They're missing tackles, penalties, du jour. Man, we could go on and on. I mean, it doesn't end. It really doesn't end. And the coach looks completely over his head. I don't know what else to say. The only good thing I can say, all right, is that we are headed for our choice of the young quarterbacks coming out in college football next year.
If you like any of them.
Well, look.
That's to be determined. I hear you.
There's a bunch. But you know what, Teak? There's a lot of guys that look pretty good. And whether it's Carson Beck, whether it's Sellers at South Carolina.
No, those guys have been great. You're right.
We could, two guys right off the top of my head that I could say, wow, one of those guys. Even Manning, he looked terrible. I watched the game against Florida last week. He looked terrible. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't him. He made some throws that are NFL throws. His offensive line couldn't block Florida's defensive line.
Right.
And, so there's guys coming out. But, I just don't know what to say. To me, this, I thought that my football team had hit rock bottom, earlier in my lifetime. But it just doesn't get any worse.
Yeah, Joe, I think the biggest thing when I watch this team, obviously we tried to find some positives. The run game is a positive, except for the fumble.
They can run the ball.
Right, they can run the ball. You see this. The schemes are fun. It's
right,
good.
Right.
It creates space. You see them running on empty air all the time, which is awesome. But to me, the thing that jumps out most is the penalties. This was the MO for, I think, the past two regimes, maybe three now if you include this one. How can this not get better, and why is this not the emphasis? As a fan, this is what would piss me off the most.
Well, it does, and I'll say, and this is what gets me the most aggravated, Tiki, about Glenn, and you hit it right on the head. He came here and he said, we are going to be a disciplined football team. We're not going to turn the ball over. We're not going to make the dumb penalties, and it's the same old, and they don't take the ball away. They're the only team in NFL history 5 games into it that doesn't have a takeaway over 100 years. How is that possible, Tiki?
Wow. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
That is the thing of all the things that are disgusting to watch, whether it's fumbles that spoil really good drives like Braylon Allen 2 weeks ago or Brees Hall yesterday. It's the fact that I'm not saying they got all-world defensive players, but the talent level on defense has to be better than the guard. They give up 30 points a game. They miss 15 tackles a game, and you hit on it. They haven't forced a turnover. By accident, you forced a turnover.
That's actually unfathomable.
And Sauce Gardner got burned again for another touchdown by Pickens this week. It was Wilder the week before. It's horrible. It's hard. And how many guys walked in for touchdowns? Not even being touched, and they're going into the end zone. It's real. Oh my God. I just don't know what to say anymore.
Is it? We took a call.
No pass rush. There's no pass rush. They had all these offensive linemen out yesterday, Dallas, and they really didn't get a sack. They gave him a sack on a slide by Prescott. Give me a break. And on the other side, Tiki, as good as the run blocking is by the offensive line, the pass blocking is terrible.
Yeah.
Justin Fields got the crap beat out of him yesterday.
Yeah, you almost feel bad for him because you want to evaluate him, Justin Fields.
Right.
You want to see, not that he's the quarterback of the future, but can he be the quarterback of the next year or so, or two, or whatever it may be? And you have no idea because you want him to be a pocket passer, but he's kind of best suited and maybe only going to be successful on this particular team if he's running the ball.
And there's not enough of those, Tiki. I don't know about you, Ev. I don't know about you, Tiki, watching the game. Where's all these RPOs? How come he's not running the ball
You don't see him at all. You don't see him at all. The only time you see him run is when he's scrambling.
He's in trouble.
He's in trouble.
Right.
He runs to clean up a terrible play call by the offensive coordinator, like we saw on 4th down 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
That's when he runs. We took a caller who asked the question, and it's a depressing question, but I'm starting to think about it too, which is, could this be one and done? I mean, to you, what do we need to see for us to at least have the confidence of, all right, let's bring him back for a second year? Because I can't sit here and watch 0-17 and watch them continuously get worse and just blindly say, well, it's year one. They have to bring him back. They have to show some improvement, don't they?
The Patriots got rid of Gerard Mayo after 1 year, right?
Yeah.
Well, how many games did he win? You guys remember? He get 3 wins, maybe?
Something like that.
Yeah, something.
Right?
But that was an opportunistic get rid of. You know what I mean?
Vrabel
they
was
wanted
there.
Vrabel, right?
Right.
So
right.
I don't know if that's the.
They won 4-13 last year. It's not that I want to. I don't think you do either, Joe. It's just that they can't just go 0-17 and suck and have us just blindly say, Tony Dungy got off to a bad start. Dan Campbell got off to a bad start.
Bill
No biggie.
Parcells got off to a bad start. We could go on with different coaches that didn't get off to good starts, but he just doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. I think that's that's the worst part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see it. I mean, what's going on here? You know, if I got to watch Michael Clemens go the wrong way again, as I'm watching the quarterback go this way and Michael Clemens go that way, I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, this is the kind of thing. Ev, I can't take it anymore. I'm out there roasting yesterday. And I only because I had my daughter with me at the game, and she was loving every second of it. We went with the great Sean Winters. God bless him. If you've ever gone with his tickets, forget it. It's off the charts. But, so I was ready to go at 30-3 because I couldn't take it anymore. It was hot. Get me the hell out of here. She wanted to hang because she was enjoying herself. Said, okay. And we finally left. I think we left right after they scored the touchdown that made it 30-14. And by the way, a couple things there. Not that they're going to win, but I think there was still 7 or 8 minutes left in the game.
The onside kick.
Shouldn't you kick it deep?
Yeah.
They probably would have scored anyway with the way the defense was, but don't you kick it deep?
I tell you, so I was thinking about this because obviously nowadays with these stupid rules, you have to announce it. You have to say, we're doing an onside kick. Everybody, here you go. And obviously the success rate is like less than 1%. The only reason I agreed with it is this defense sucks so badly that they had no chance to stop them anyway.
No, they could have started on a 1 yard line.
Yeah, their only shot was to recover an onside kick.
You're right. You know what else kills me too? And this is, you could look at this however you want to look at it, but this is so typical of this franchise. They had a terrible week. The stuff that's going on in the front office, I don't want to get into it. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
You had the Mark Sanchez disaster. What the hell was he thinking about, right? And then, and this is very minor, but this is just part of what the Jets are. All week, and this really bothered me. All week it's going to be hot. It's going to be 85 degrees, whatever. They're wearing black uniforms.
That's a good point.
Tiki.
Yeah, I know.
What? Come on.
Right. Put yourself at more at a disadvantage.
Right?
The Cowboys are
wearing
chilling.
white, all white.
Yeah,
the Cowboys are in all white.
Right, reflecting all the sun.
Oh, my God. I mean, I know it's stupid maybe, but it isn't, It's that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Well, it is, and look, you've seen it all, obviously, picking this team to be your favorite team in the mid-'60s.
Well, what a brilliant move that was. Just think, with 3 years apart, I became a Met fan and then a Jet fan. Just think of all that brilliant thought process.
Well, it looked good at first. In the first 10 years of getting championships, you look like a genius.
The first 10 years weren't bad, but then it went downhill pretty fast, bro.
Here's my question, because when I started watching football, I obviously started watching it in the early 90s, so the Kotite era was one of my first eras. I remember it very fondly.
Yeah.
Maybe it's age. Maybe it's because now I'm getting more bitter as time goes on. This is worse than the Kotite era.
Yeah.
Why? Because of the expectation?
Well, here's the thing. If this guy doesn't work out, Tiki, where the hell are we going?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? I think that's Kotite, but we wound up with Parcells.
Right. Turned around.
That guy isn't coming through the door next year or 2 years from now. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Where is it coming from? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you start looking for those. I mean, this is another defensive coach without experience, right? And that's what kills you sometimes. It's because you don't have a quarterback and you have a defensive-minded coach, and you're preaching discipline, right? That's what we were talking about a little bit earlier, Joe. You're preaching discipline, and you're not seeing it. Right, you're teaching, you're preaching hard-nosed defense, so you're not seeing it. So the only way to go is the complete opposite. We got to get an offensive coach. We got to get somebody who's innovative. But the problem, Joe, is I think they're running out of those guys. You know what I mean? Those Kyle Shanahan disciples who are going to be great head coaches, the O'Connells and the McVay disciples, You're running out of them. There's not that many of them still coming up that were with that, that Washington team. They were all with that Washington team as 24-year-olds, and they kind of just dispersed and eventually created this new realm of offense. There's not a lot of them left anymore. I don't know where you go after this.
And here's the thing. If you are a veteran, let's say a veteran, one of the biggest mistakes they've made in recent times, beside firing Mike Tannenbaum and hiring John Idzik with Rex still there, was not hiring Mike McCarthy to be the head coach. Bro, he wanted the job, okay? And I don't know what happened. Adam, what do you call it? They listened to Peyton Manning. He liked Adam Gase. Peyton Manning, what did he ever help the Jets do? Okay, he didn't want to play for him.
Right, other than beat you.
Right. We did get him a couple times.
You did, good.
When
it
mattered.
When it mattered.
We got him a few times in the playoffs.
Got him in the playoffs,
Yep. A championship game, obviously, they got us.
Maybe he was trying to give it back to you, huh?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what it was.
Yeah, maybe. You know what?
Gase.
Yeah,
that's a makeup for 41-0.
Yeah. They should have took McCarthy and all the bad, and Evan knows. Oh, he won with Aaron Rodgers. He's not that good a coach, yada, yada. He went to Dallas. Okay, he didn't win a Super Bowl. He didn't win in the playoffs, but he's winning 11, 12 games every year.
Yeah, got to the playoffs all the time. Right.
We couldn't have used Mike McCarthy. That was enough. But my point now is, if there's a guy like that out there, a veteran coach like that out there, why the hell would he want to come here?
No. You'd have to give tons of money and tons of control. That's it. That's all you'd have to do.
I mean, come on.
And it sucks that we're talking about this 5 weeks into a new regime, but that's how bad it looks.
Yeah, I mean, you're 0-5. You're the only winless team in the NFL, and you have Denver next.
By the way, I want to thank the Arizona Cardinals. Did you see the end of the Arizona? Oh,
unbelievable.
How they handed that game. Tiki, that was like Jet-like. I thought maybe it was like the Jet playbook, the way the Cardinals handed that game.
So, Joe, we do our picks every Friday, and that's the one I got wrong. And that game was 21-6.
Yeah, with the guy walking in for a touchdown.
It was going to be 28-6.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, I got a 3-0 week. And then they lose that game. Yes, that did feel very Jet-like.
Not only that play, which is inexcusable. How about the fump, the interception?
Right.
The guy goes down, he fumbles the ball, it goes into the end zone, and the Titans recover.
No. That was a reception. He caught it.
And he got fumbled like numerous times.
And then he fumbled, and then everybody was booting it around. That was unreal.
Unbelievable. You can't make it up. But anyway, then there's the Jets. It's really painful.
I know it's tough to judge, but give me your feelings on Justin Fields. Are you impressed? Would you even consider him being the quarterback of the future? Where do you stand with him right now?
Look, I don't think he's terrible. I don't think they're using him correctly. I think there has to be a lot more run-pass option. The offensive line hasn't helped. You know what I mean?
Right.
It would be nice if we had another guy opposite Garrett. Garrett's such a great player. If they had a guy opposite Garrett Wilson. And the kid, Mason Taylor's starting to come around a little bit. But they don't have that guy. I think they should throw the ball more to Breece Hall. I don't think there's any doubt about it. So it's tough to evaluate him. I don't think he's been terrible. He hasn't thrown. He's had a couple fumble turnovers. He hasn't thrown an interception yet.
Zero.
Right?
Zero picks.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I guess his quarterback rating probably is not that bad. But, I mean, it's like yesterday when he did put some numbers up, he threw a couple touchdown passes. The game was over. It's cosmetic, you know.
It was meaningless. It was garbage time.
Right.
And that's the thing.
Right.
That's what was so discouraging. Like, a lot of those numbers are kind of meaningless. He's not bad, but he ain't the answer.
No.
I mean, I've kind of figured that out watching him for a few weeks.
But let's use him right.
Yes, they don't use. I agree with that. Use his legs.
Him be a big part of the running game. I mean, I don't understand that.
Well, Joe, I like to liken this to what Josh Allen. He's not Josh Allen by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm just using this as an example. When Josh Allen first came in the league, he didn't know how to read defenses or make do the things that he's magically done on his way to an MVP a year ago. But they let him have success by, all right, kid, just run it. If you're confused, just run it. And he's a great athlete, and he made things happen, and they won some games early in his career, and eventually he became who he is now. Why not do that? Right? Yeah. If you can't pass protect, you can't get anybody open other than Garrett Wilson, be different. Do something that you know your quarterback knows how to do well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big part of it. So it's very hard to evaluate him. I mean, like I said, he hasn't been terrible. I mean, I don't put 0-5 on him. I really don't. The defense is so bad, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just a disaster.
Here's the thing, Joe. Are you angry or are you just kind of resigned?
You know what, Tiki? I am so disgusted with this franchise. I mean, we've been so bad for so long. You've heard me say it. They're the worst organization in professional sports.
By a lot.
I mean, I don't even think it's close anymore.
It's by far.
I mean, come on. I mean, yesterday was so depressing as I'm sitting there sweating my rear end off, right? Watching this with all the Cowboys. I saw I saw Roger Staubach. I saw Emmitt Smith. I saw Michael Irvin, Tony Romo. You name it. Troy Aikman. I even saw Tony Dorsett. The only one I don't think I saw was Bob Lilly.
Wow.
But there were Cowboy fans everywhere.
What was the breakdown, you think?
It was horrible.
Were there more Cowboy fans than Jet fans? Is it like 60-40?
I think that if you ask me, I mean, there was so many Go Cowboy chants, and it just God. What else can you say? Tiki, it's been a very rough. Thank God the weather has been great.
Yeah,
I'm playing golf. Right. Played today.
Otherwise, this fall would be depressing.
I mean, between the Mets and the Jets and my big and I know Evan is with me on this. Ev, I am so worried that Pete is not coming back.
I'm definitely worried. Certainly a possibility.
I got to tell you, man, and that's going to rip my heart out even more.
But you know what?
If that happens, you want to hear that little soliloquy about David Stearns. I can tell you right now.
I want Pete Alonso back. I'm worried about it. You know what's crazier though? If they lose Edwin Diaz, it may be worse.
Yeah, you big. I have both.
It may be worse. No, they need
there
both
is
of them.
no excuse for not bringing both of these guys back. Okay? There is no excuse.
I have thought this, but you've seen Jesse and Tug McGraw and everybody. I think Edwin Diaz is the best closer in the history of the franchise.
You know what? He's certainly in the conversation. I mean, it's hard to say no. I mean, he's tremendous. To me, is there a better closer in baseball than him?
No.
He was great.
He's definitely number one.
I mean, I don't think
he hasn't officially said he's opting out, right?
Nah, but he's opting out.
Nah, he is.
He's not an idiot.
Of course he's not.
They all do, T. Come on.
Of course.
You'd be opting out too, T.
100%.
Of course he would.
100%. Pay me.
Of course.
Well, Joe, hopefully it gets better at 9:30 a.m. in London on Sunday, but let's not bet on it.
Against the Broncos. By the way, just before I go, right? New England, here they come. They got Mike Vrabel. They got Drake May. They beat the Bills last night. Oh, my God. Stephon Diggs.
Right.
Oh, my God.
Diggs hugging Vrabel in the tunnel.
Right. It's painful.
He's a hero all over again.
And one last thing, too. I don't expect you to comment too much on this. But, boy, has Belichick lost his mind. There's really no other way to say it.
Yeah.
Does he even make...
I called that game this weekend.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
What they play? Clemson, right? North Carolina,
it was
Clemson?
28 to
they got
nothing.
Killed.
No, 28 to 3. I apologize.
Right.
They scored on their first possession.
Right.
The Panthers or the UNC 28 to 3, and midway through the first quarter, the students left.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking.
Is he going to be the coach through the year?
Yeah, I think he is.
Is he?
He's got. They have 70 new athletes.
Yeah.
70, 30 true freshmen and 40 transfers. Wow. So, if next year is the same, I don't think it lasts. Right. I think he's like, dude, I don't need this.
Seems to me, Teague, and I'll say it this way, seems to me he's much more interested in something else than coaching right now.
Well,
I don't doubt.
Joe, on their bye week, they had a bye week last week.
Right.
They played Clemson. They have a bye week this week.
Again? They got a bye week?
Yeah, so it's weird. And so on the first bye week, he was up in the Northeast somewhere on the beach with his girl.
Right. Yeah.
Not getting ready for Clemson.
Well, Joe said he's focused on something else.
Man, I'm telling you.
He's paying attention to detail, just elsewhere.
Yeah.
That's all.
Unbelievable.
Thank you, Joe. Always good talking to you,
God
man.
bless. We'll talk to you next week.
The great Joe
good,
Beningo
Joe.
following another embarrassing, horrific, disgusting Jet loss. Oh, one other thing from this Jet game that didn't piss me off at the time because I didn't realize it, but now I've gotten angry. On the opening drive of the game, remember how the Jets marched down the field, eventually kicked the field goal?
Yes.
On the third down play, it was 3rd and goal from the 7-yard line, and they threw a quick pass, and it got deflected by Fowler. It got bounced off of Fowler's hands and off of
his head.
Off of his head,
It
you're
hit
right.
him in the face.
And then it hit the wire.
The sky cam.
The sky cam. Okay, clearly hits the sky cam. There is a rule that if a ball hits the sky cam, there's a do-over.
Yeah.
So the Jets should have been allowed another opportunity on 3rd and goal from the 7-yard line. And who knows, if they punch it in and it's 7-0 instead of 3-0, maybe things play out differently. All I know is while the Jets stink and they are awful and they're an embarrassment, every week there's 3 or 4 calls that should go their way that do not go their way.
Right.
That is a consistent thing every single week. So when you're bad, it doesn't help when every call goes against you. But they're bad, and it's got to change. Because I'm not going to sit here, Joe ain't going to sit here, and no Jet fan's going to sit here and just say, well, gee, it's the first year. Aaron Glenn's got to show us something. You don't just get a second year. And that's not me saying I'd fire him or I'm even leaning towards it. Just, it's a warning. We're 5 weeks into the year.
Yeah.
This isn't a scholarship.
No.
It's not just, oh, well, whatever. They have to improve. They can't be this bad. If they are this bad, he will live in NFL history as one and done.
Yeah, you're right. And you got the Broncos in London, then Carolina, and then you're at the Bengals.
Yeah.
2 of those at least are winnable games.
Winnable, yes.
Yes.
Now, they're looking at the Jets saying that's an easy win.
Of course, but 2 of those games are winnable.
Yeah.